Hey G fans, like I said, my top 5 least favorite characters to play with video. This is my top 5 monsters to play with, but it will not include Godzilla himself. Not because I don't like playing with him, not because he's the best, but simply because he's too overpowered compared to the characters to really bother including him in the list. He's really fun to play with, he's really well made, but this focuses on the other like 20 monsters in the game. So with that said, excuse me, I'm not really going to be including Burning Godzilla or 1964 Godzilla because they're just very similar to Heisei Godzilla in the game, so not much of a point in going over them, although I enjoy both those characters very, very, very much. Like I said, this is all personal opinion, you may disagree with me, but these are just the characters I have the most fun playing with in the game, besides Godzilla variants, except for one of them. Okay, so starting at top 5, would be the Batra Larva. The Batra Larva is really, really fun, and for so many reasons. First off, he looks fucking amazing. Secondly, they went beyond the movies to give him realistic movements. The movies were basically, animatronic Batra / man in a suit. So, they did the best they could, but it doesn't look super realistic. But in the game, they actually made Batra's legs crawl around, kind of like a spider or a centipede, which looked freaking amazing to me. He really is one of the best rendered characters in the game. So besides looking good and the locomotion, how he moves being really fucking good, he's a really good monster to play with. It's so easy to get 100% in every level because he has his melee combos which destroy everything in sight. He has the I-beam, which is really good for hitting opponents in the air or just doing a lot of damage. And like Mothra Larva, he is a really good melee fighter. He fights really good at close range. He can be hard to fight with hand to hand. Most times I play against him, I need to use beam weapons to keep him back, because if he gets in close, it can be really hard to beat him. But Batra Larva for the fucking win. Number 4 on the list is Biollante. If you notice what kind of player I am, Biollante had to be in this list because Biollante is just one of the most funnest and easiest ones to play with. Biollante, as soon as you unlock her, it's just so fun because invade mode, you literally just press any one of your combos and you get like 100% instruction mode, because you're so big and you cover so much ground in one move. You can destroy helicopters, swipe buildings, destroy tanks all in one combo, and you become a humongous. You get like 110 meters or above, which is hard to do with other monsters, but with Biollante it's so easy. I mean, to me, there's no hard matchup for Biollante. Even if opponents try and keep their distance, she has the Acid's Breath, which does a lot of damage. So, yeah, she's really freaking good. She looks fucking amazing. And despite the Acid Breath being a far-range combo, once she gets in close with the swinging tendrils / vines, it's pretty much a done deal. Biollante is fucking amazing. Number 3, Godzilla 2014. The only Godzilla variant I want to include in the top 5, only because he's very different from the rest. And I say that because unlike Burning Godzilla 1964 or the Heisei Godzilla, he has no nuclear pulse and other things that the other ones have. He moves very differently. He's very big and lumbering. Of course, he's bigger than them, but also he has a very different strategy. Mainly, it's about being up close and personal, swiping the opponent with the claws, hitting them with the tails, his R2 combo, which does a lot of fucking damage. And he has a really good charge attack where he just rams you to death. His heat rate does decent damage, not as powerful as the other Godzilla variants, but still better than 1964 Godzilla. So, yeah, Godzilla 2014 is definitely one of my top fucking characters. Coming in at a tie for number 2 is 2 different monsters. I have King Ghidorah and Destroyer tied at second place for my top 5 favorite monsters to play with. and they both follow the similar principles to Biollante. I'll start for Destroya. Destroya is really one of the biggest monsters in the game, so easily destroy stuff. My favorite combo with him is his freaking charge attack, the X combo. He basically flies right to the city and decimates it, and then to add, insult to injury, he uses his tail to swipe at the opponent, knocking them back and doing even more damage before landing again. So use that during invade mode, you fly to the city, destroying buildings, you swipe upwards with your tail, destroying more, and then you bring your whole body weight down on the city, destroying even more buildings, making it pretty fun and destructive to play as. Freaking amazing, and of course Destroyer looks really freaking good. Between the two of them in this tie, I kind of want to give it to King Ghidorah because King Ghidorah can actually fly. King Ghidorah is one of the funnest characters to play as during invade mode because you can destroy the whole city in a matter of seconds, literally. Especially once you get your charge gauge all the way up. Basically, you just press X, you fly upwards, and you just press O, fire gravity beams, and then you can literally turn in any direction you want, mow down the city. Literally mow it down with gravity beams and destroying the city in all different directions. Your fury mode goes super high, and you get to 100 meters long before you go to the final 3 levels or stages, as you want to call them. And they included my favorite versions of King Ghidorah, the 1990s version. Not as awesome looking as Grand King Ghidorah, but still pretty awesome. King Ghidorah is pretty good. Even the fucking, I actually came to appreciate the Hurricane Wind attack because it's actually good for getting an opponent off you when you're getting pummeled by faster opponents. Because King Ghidorah is pretty slow on the ground. But even melee-wise, the whole biting with the necks, it's pretty effective in combat. So yeah, King Ghidorah is my favorite ones to play as. And before I get to number 1, I wanted to cover some of my top favorites also, who were, I guess you could say, honorable mentions. Godzilla, obviously. Burning Godzilla is really fucking awesome. And fucking Rodan. I love playing as Rodan. But I could not include him on the list, unfortunately. But I definitely should have. Number 1 for me is Gigan. Not only because Gigan's my favorite monsters in the fucking game, obviously, but just because, Gigan's just fucking fun to play as in the game, and he's a lot faster than almost all the monsters as far as melee combat goes. Not only that, but Gigan's really good at far-range combat too. If your opponent's something like Biollante, or Anguirus, or Destroyer, who's just way too powerful to fight, up close and personal, if you're fully leveled up, just fly backwards at a safe distance and fire off your little chainsaw blades. And boom, the chainsaw blades hover around your opponent just like in Godzilla Final Wars. They do massive damage, and if you fill your charge gauge all the way to 3, you can fire off literally 3 consecutive shots of it, which pretty much kills your opponent without even touching them. I've used that on opponents like Anguirus who are no good at far range combat. Anguirus has to get in close to hit you. So, Gigan versus Anguirus, I just fly backwards, fire off the chainsaw beams, and they just slice him to pieces. The only way you can avoid them is if he goes underground, but if some of these surfaces, I can just fire off more. So yeah, it becomes a loop of fucking assholeness for them, and they can't do shit. So yeah, Gigan's pretty awesome to play as. And then, like I said before though, he's really good at combo playing. His only weakness is before he does his charge attack, if he gets hit, it pretty much knocks out of balance and cancels out your attack, and I believe you also waste your energy in the process. However, if he does go off, it's like Destroyer's combo. You can just keep ramming through several buildings, ram through an opponent, and knock them backwards. It's pretty effective. And then, of course, special combo is the Chainsaw Spin, which is really good for destroying a city. And, of course, my favorite thing is the fucking Cluster Beam, because they'll find awards fucking amazing. In fact, my only complaint about this character is that I wish they had included the other versions of Gigan, including the fucking normal version from the earlier part of Godzilla Final Wars, and the Showa Gigan. However, as it is, I'm completely fine with this, and yeah, so Gigan is my number one favorite character to play as besides Godzilla. And that covers my top 5 worst and my top 5 most enjoyable characters to play with in the PS4 version of Godzilla the game.